Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Mari and today I'm going to tell you a little story about my scariest hostel experience. Really, yeah, it's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me while traveling. It's really not that bad, so don't get too worried. I find it kind of a good story, which is why I'm sharing it. Also, I'm sharing it because a lot of people think, oh, when you're solo traveling, it must be so scary and all these things happen to you. So this is a good example of like, if this is the scariest thing, it's really not that bad. I've traveled a lot and a lot of it solo, and usually I feel so safe and so good, and people are really helpful and nice and awesome. I stayed in a lot of hostels, never had any problems. Oh wait, there was one time in Bangkok where there was just kind of like a creepy man. I just had really weird vibes. He was just like sitting cross-legged on his bunk like for hours and just like staring at people and like making really weird comments. Actually, yeah, he was pretty weird. I actually asked to change rooms. That was a good example of using your intuition. If you just feel unsafe at all, just do something about it. That was the only other time there was like someone that fell off in a hostel room, and I've stayed at a lot of hostels. But okay, I digress. This story. It was nighttime. I don't remember what time, but it was already dark. I go to the hostel. I had booked like a female only room just because, well, like for example, after that creepy guy, sometimes, no offense males, I just feel safer and like more comfortable in a female only room. It's just my personal preference. Two other girls that were staying in my room had also just got there right before I got there. So, but we get into the room and like the lights are already off in the room. It was a 6-person dorm room, but the lights are already off and some people were like already in bed and stuff. So you know, myself and the other two girls are kind of just like being quiet. It was one of the ones with the hostel, like you have to put the sheets on the bed and stuff. But we're trying to do that quietly. Meanwhile, there's this woman in the room, and she was maybe like late 40s, early 50s about, and she was just like, I mean, she seemed okay, but like the stuff that she was saying, it just made it seem like there is something off about her. Those two girls that came in right before me, they were kind of like whispering and talking to each other, like kind of trying to get their stuff sorted. And this woman was just like, ooh, what are you talking about? Oh, what are you, the Whisper Sisters? And she was just kind of like giving them a hard time, and it was kind of weird, and they were just kind of like, like, I don't think they knew what to do either. It was just kind of like, she said a couple things that were just like, what? Like, it was just kind of off-putting. But I didn't really think that much of it. I was like, okay, she's just kind of weird. Maybe she's just trying to go to bed. Like, I don't know. So at that point, it wasn't weird enough that I thought I had to go report it or anything. Then I wasn't really tired yet, and I think I probably had editing to do or something. So I like set myself up, went down to the lounge so I could go on my laptop. Yeah, because it wasn't that late yet. There were still a lot of people up in the downstairs lounge area of the hostel. So I was down there for a little bit working on my stuff. I think I even brought my stuff with me so that I could get ready for bed and go to the bathroom and all that before I went back into the room so that I disturbed the people less, you know. Because I try to be respectful like that when I stay in dorms. I open the door into the room. It's all dark. And then as soon as I walk in, this woman like shines a flashlight in my face, and she's like flashing, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And it's just like, what? Like, it's so blinding, like I can't see anything. And I'm just like, what is going on? But I know there are other people sleeping there, so I don't want to make like a really loud noise or like ruckus. So I'm just kind of like, ah. Then she's just like holding the flashlight on me as I'm like getting into bed. And I mean, I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to be helpful, but like also it did not really seem helpful. It seemed like she was just kind of like, what are you doing? I don't know. It was just weird. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But like, you know, I got into bed and she turned off the flashlight. And then I was like, I don't know, I feel like I could not sleep very well. And then all of a sudden she gets up and she's just kind of like pacing around the room. I can just hear her pacing around the room. And I'm on the top bunk. So it's like 3 bunks, you know, 2 beds each. The 3 bunks are like, you know, kind of 2 here and 1 here. And she's just kind of pacing in the middle. And so since I'm on the top, I feel like I'm kind of at her like head level, you know? And so I can just like hear her, and it's just like, ugh, like what is she doing? Like, this is so weird. Like, I was starting to get really weirded out because she just seemed really unpredictable, and it just seemed kind of a little bit off. Like there's just things she said before. It's like the girls and then kind of just the flashlight. I was like, oh, what is she doing? So she's pacing around the room. It's really freaking me out. And then I hear her say, my name is Victoria. I have a, right at that point when she said I have a, someone else in their bed like kind of like ruffles around. The bed made noise and all this, so I couldn't hear what she said, but she was like, I have a blank and I know how to use it. And I was like, ah! Like, what did she say she had? What did she say she had? Like, she could have said she had a flashlight and she knew how to use it. And I was like, yeah. She could have said she had a gun. She could have said she had a knife. Like, I don't know what she said she had, but at that point I am freaking out. And I was too afraid to do anything because I just didn't know. She seemed so unpredictable that I was like, should I get up? Should I do something? But I was like, if she does have a gun or a knife, like she knows how to use it. She said so. Like, what do I do? So honestly, I was too afraid, so I did nothing. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. What do you do in those situations? Like, if she has a weapon, I have no defense against that. So I was like, it seemed like the right thing to do to just like not do anything and like pretend to be asleep. But then I was so terrified that she was just like gonna come over to my bed and like stab me. I think I just probably did not sleep all night because I was just so weirded out by her. I mean, so nothing ended up happening. She eventually just like went to sleep. I don't know. So yeah, that's my scariest experience. I think it's kind of funny now, but at the time I was so petrified. It was one of those things that I just like couldn't move. I just didn't know what to do, and it felt that scary because she just seemed so weird that you're like, she could do anything. I don't know. And I knew it was late enough that the people at the front desk had already gone to bed. I didn't have a cell phone that worked. Like, I couldn't call the cops. I really didn't know what to do. I was staying for 2 nights, so that was the first night, and I knew, I was like, if she's staying here again the second night, like I knew for sure I was gonna go to the front desk and be like, I need to be switched. But fortunately, she was like packing her stuff that morning and she left. And I never told the hostel staff. And in retrospect, I definitely would have reported it to them. At the time, I didn't think it mattered because I was like, oh, she left, doesn't matter anymore. But now I've realized like, oh, well, if she's traveling around New Zealand, she could be staying at more hostels and doing that same thing again, or she could actually hurt someone sometime, or something could happen. I knew her name, she said her name was Victoria, and the hostel would have been able to look up to see who it was. So in retrospect, if anything like that happens to you, or if that happens to me again, I'm definitely gonna report it and let them know, because then at least like you might save someone else from going through something like that. Again, I feel very fortunate. Nothing actually happened. I was just scared, and who knows, like, she was probably harmless. Her voice and that experience still kind of haunts me. It was just so creepy. And I'm still wondering what she said she had that she knew how to use. Like, it's the biggest mystery. So on that note, I'm wishing you all safe travels and that you never encounter Victoria. But also, just the main takeaway is that it's really not that scary. You'll be fine. That didn't scare me from staying at hostels. I will still stay at hostels all the time. Most people are great. So don't let fear stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Just remember that you should always use your intuition though, and if someone really feels off, report it sooner than later, or move rooms, or take action. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!